Mike and Dina Ferrer are as connected to the community of Lorain as anyone. Dina was born here, raised in an Italian home with a father who worked the steel mills.
My house was very loud. We talked, and we weren't afraid to express ourselves. And if you didn't agree, it was okay.
Mike wasn't born here. He grew up in New York City without a father, but the lessons he learned there have shaped who he is here.
It was lonely. It was never having anything to do. It was just hanging out on the streets and, watching my brother Louis, get into the gangs. And thank God, by being in the gangs, he made sure I was never in the gang.
What's up, Brando? Hey, what's up, Mike? What's up, man?
This video is from 20 years ago. Mike was working with gang kids on the streets of Lorain through El Centro.
At that time, Captain Rivera, who's chief of police now, had sent a letter out saying he can no longer guarantee the safety of the citizens of Lorain if we didn't start doing after-school programs and keep the kids off the street. So at the time I was in a job that I was very, very well paid for, but was very unhappy with because I was always behind a desk. And I wanted to be out in the field, and I got a call from Nelson Ramirez at El Centro, says, we got a lot of gang problems in South Lorain. Would you be interested in working at the youth center? So I said, okay.
Consider Mike on overtime. 3 months has turned into 2 decades. In those early days, Mike needed a photographer to chronicle his work with the gangs. Dina got the job. They had never met.
I realized how much passion he had for the students and how much caring he cared about those students, that it definitely impressed me. And we worked very well together.
That was their start. And this summer, they'll celebrate 17 years of marriage and countless moments of caring for their community.
If it wasn't for my partner, I wouldn't feel this passion. And when I started, I was angry. I was always angry at that. How could we let young people live like this? How come we're not doing more? And I would attack the schools, and I would attack the government, and I would attack, and I think when I got married, she showed me how much more you can do without getting angry.
Dina has always had perspective, always looked for what's important. Like education, she earned her associate's, bachelor's, and master's degrees at Lorain County Community College and its university partnership.
It's changed my life. I was the first person to have a college education in my family, and I was not expecting to go to college.
Dina and Mike never miss a moment to educate and advocate in and for the Latino community.
People are really hurting. They don't have jobs. They don't have the basic necessities sometimes. It's a lot of teamwork, A lot of times he'll call me and say, I'm sending somebody over, give them some information about financial aid or a GED, or what kind of classes do you have? And vice versa. I'll call him and say, hey, somebody's looking for a job. Do you know what kind of job you have that's available in whatever city? Or, do you know where they can get some help with their electric bill?
And I have the greatest partner in the world. I mean, she inspires me. She motivates me. I bring someone home who doesn't have a home, and she welcomes them with open arms and, stay here until we can get you situated. I don't know many people who have that type of wife.
It's the kids that keep Mike motivated. The kids that everyone else has given up on. He wants those kids to have memories that they can take with them for the rest of their lives, and memories that will hopefully shape their lives.
I live to work with young people, and the rewards are unimaginable. When I see the potential, when I see the potential flourish into something, I'm just dumbfounded. I go home and I'm like in happy tears.
When he works with young people, he just really feels what they feel. But he feels like that when he watches movies. He cries at all the movies. And of course I look over him and it's like, oh my gosh, not again.
That passion, they both have it. Sometimes it meets head to head. Like when Dina was president of the Lorain City Schools Board of Education, and Mike stepped to the microphone at a public meeting to voice a complaint.
And it's so wrong for you to do this, and I can't believe that you're doing this.
After his time was up, I told him his time was up, he couldn't talk anymore.
And I was like, okay, so I stayed there and I waited.
At that point, I was the president, so I had control.
And we got into this little sort of argument on the issue.
And told him he had to leave, he had to go sit down.
The whole room was aghast.
It was actually fun.
We're kind of like going at it.
The superintendent at the time said, "Do you need to stay at my house tonight and not go home?"
At least two people came up to me and says, and they were really sincere, "Do you need a place to stay tonight?"
Mike and Dina just laughed. Their love for each other is as strong as their love for community. Nothing can change that.
He's so positive, it's unbelievable.
It's a wish that came true. That's it.
Mike and Dina Ferrer, Excellence in Leadership honorees.